Hi guys, I wanted to walk through with you how I'm going to be doing the Micronesia, Polynesia, and all those kind of islands. So I may be mispronouncing some of these along the way. I'll make sure to correct that when I actually tell my kids. But I just wanted to walk through to show you how I'm doing it, to maybe that will help you. And then once I get my maps finished, I'll post them. But I thought maybe this would be helpful. So the first thing that I did was to draw my lines of on the map. So you see my top line up here is my Tropic of Cancer, I have the equator, and then I have down here the Tropic of Capricorn. And that's just to help us make some reference points so that we know kind of where to place things to begin with. There's a great formula that in our guide that shows you how to do that, and go through that here, but I did use those steps to do that. So anyway, take the time to kind of go through that, make sure you know how to do that formula. I maybe can make another video on that, but so let's start. So the first thing we're gonna have my do is have my kids start with Australia, because we know that the Tropic of Capricorn runs pretty much through the middle of Australia. So we're gonna start with Australia down here, and we're just gonna kind of have the pointer finger of Australia. And I'm not drawing all of it, I'm just drawing a piece of it kind of off that way. So there's my Australia. If you want to add, you can add your little Tasmania down here. And then we can always add, if you want, over here we can add just the big top kind of half and part of New Zealand if we want. And I don't really know if I have a spacing for that, but that's where I'm putting those. So after that, we can go up and start our islands. And so I'm kind of doing a fishy deal here since we're out in the ocean. And so what I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with Papua New Guinea. And although Papua New Guinea does not look like a fish, but we'll go with it. All right, so Papua New Guinea sits under, just right under the equator. And so we're going to draw Papua New Guinea. And so remember, one side of Papua New Guinea on the western side, I have to think about my directions, is Indonesia. But we're going to go ahead and draw that part of Indonesia. Indonesia to me kind of looks like a little dinosaurs, little arms. And then we'll go down and we'll draw a line, because the other half of Indonesia is Papua New Guinea. And that is like the back tail end of the dinosaur. So, and Papua New Guinea also has a little footprint here, and it sits underneath the equator. So this is Papua. I don't actually know how to spell that. That could be wrong, but we could check it later. So we'll just abbreviate. So there's Papua New Guinea. And that's what we're going to do after Australia. We're going to draw Papua New Guinea. Now above Papua New Guinea sits our first islands. And like I said, I'm going to draw these in blobs and then just kind of put the islands in, because I feel like the kids can understand it easier if we're working in shapes. So the first island, which is, I have my little cheat sheet under here, is Palau. And once again, I'm probably mispronouncing that, but that's okay. So Palau is a sea slug. I'm just going to draw us a little sea slug. We're going to make some islands in here. So there's Palau, and then off of Palau is kind of like an eel, and I'm going to draw kind of a squiggy little eel sitting here. Maybe it's not an eel. You can make whatever little happy fish makes you feel good. And these islands in here, and once again, we're just gonna blop, 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 and you can add however many you want in there. But these islands are the Federated States of Micronesia. So Federated States of Micronesia. Maybe I'm saying that whole thing wrong, but anyway. Sorry, I've got a little bit of a drippy nose. Okay, so above the Federated States of Micronesia is a upside down jellyfish. We're going to draw his head. And in there is Guam. And Guam is a U.S. territory, so we're going to put U.S. there. And then his little taily here that sits right underneath the Tropic of Cancer is the Northern Mariana Islands. So we'll just plop some islands in there. So there's our Guam and our northern Mariana Islands. Okay, so there's those. So now we're going to move over beside the Federated States. Okay, we're going to make a coral here. And this sweet little piece of coral are our Marshall Islands. I do believe, yeah. So these are our Marshall Islands. And in these, each of these little coral fingers are our islands. And then once again, just don't have to be super exact here. We're not going for crazy exact, but okay. So after that, we're going to draw a big hammerhead shark. And our big hammerhead shark is the Kiribati. And once again, that's probably really, really wrong on the pronunciation, but the Kiribati Islands is a big hammerhead shark, and he goes like that. And once again, we're just going to make our dots, and you can just, for the sake of time, can go back and do that. But this is the Kiribati Islands. All right, then we're going to go back over here, and in between the Federate States, I don't even know if that's right, anyway, Micronesia, we're going to make a sea anemone here. And this is the island of Nauru. Once again, excuse my pronunciations. All right, so there's that. And then, okay, let me try to get my camera right. Okay. So underneath Nauru, to the south, is half of a shark. And this little shark right here, just the half of them, goes kind of like that, are the Solomon Islands. And these are a little bit bigger islands, so we can make some kind of bigger dots here. So these are the Solomon Islands. Okay, there's my hammerhead shark. Underneath the Solomon Islands, we're trying to hide and run away is a goldfish. And these islands are, I'll have to look at my sheet. The Vanuatu Islands, maybe, is that how you say it? I have a really great little website that shows me how to say all these things, so I'll make sure to double check that. Okay, islands are right there. All right, and then over here, right above our Solomon Islands, is another sea slug. I'm just going to draw a little sluggy here, and we've got islands. And that is Tuvalu, the Tuvalu Islands. I think is how you say it. Okay. And then underneath the Tuvalu Islands, which is going to be our crab. And our crab here is the Fiji Islands. Okay, so there's Fiji Islands. Looks kind of like a crab. So we'll put our islands in there. And you can see that, once again, these islands are in between the equator and our Tropic of Capricorn. The equator does run through the Kiribati Islands, and then the other islands sit in between the Tropic of Cancer and the Cancer and the equator. Then we just have a couple more, and that's it. So then we have, right beside our Fiji, I'm sorry I didn't label that. Our Fiji Islands are the, what are they? I can't remember. Gosh, I can't read my handwriting, guys. Oh, the Tonga Islands, I'm sorry. I was a little confused at what I had written there. Okay. So right beside Fiji is the Tonga Islands, and the Tonga Islands look like a seahorse. So we're going to be our little seahorse here. And these are the Tonga Islands. And then the last two islands that we have here are the American Samoa and Samoa. And so American Samoa kind of looks like the tail of a lobster. So my little lobster tail. Something similar to a lobster tail. And so this is American Samoa. And then coming off of American Samoa is a clamshell, and that is Samoa. Okay, and that's it. That is our islands, as you can see here. So all there, and you can, add your little dots further if you want to. There are some islands that sit in here that aren't required by CC in the guide, but you could add them if you wanted. So for instance, the Cook Islands sit, I don't know if I did it here on my other sheet, which I didn't. I may show my kids, but I may not. It just depends. All right, so you can see here the Cook Islands sit here, right here, and then French Polynesia is like a big stingray with its tail, and it sits at all these islands over there. And then there's an island here that looks like a whale. I don't actually know how to say that, but it looks like a whale. And then there's a couple islands that sit in here, but once again, they're not in the guide. These are the islands that are in the guide. So I just wanted to go through and show you kind of how I did that. I hope that's helpful to you when you're walking through and showing your kiddos how to draw this area of the world. So I'll have these maps posted hopefully tomorrow once I get finished making them all colorful and pretty. But I hope that helped. You guys be blessed and have a great evening.